Hi guys, Ian Tarantula back for another video. Hope everybody is staying safe at home. So this is a bit of a product review slash rehousing of a tarantula that I've got in my collection. So the product we are actually going to be reviewing today is this. So this is a Gigan Terra Terrarium. So these are very similar to the Exo Terras. So they are a French company and they're hoping to rival the Exo Terra Terrariums. From first impressions, I bought actually two of these, so I've got one out of the box already. So let's have a little look around. So on the front you have a little lever that you pull down here, and that literally opens. Doing it one handed is a bit tricky. There we go, so it opens the door. So the door is one door rather than a lot of Exo Terras that are wider have two doors, and it just then literally clips into place. Now it does have a mesh lid. Now I know this can be a little bit hazardous for some terrestrials. The one that I'm putting into this, I'm not particularly worried that it's going to do any damage to the tarantula again, so yeah, so I'm going to keep it. But the good thing about these is they've got little clips here, so you push that one, you pull that one out, and you can either open it up as a lid like that, or it has to the other end, and then the whole thing just simply comes out. Now on the underside there is 12 screws which you can unscrew and replace it with plexi if you require. Like I say, this tarantula that I'm putting in here, I'm not particularly worried. It's not much of a climber. They are prolific webbers, and it's not a GBB. So let's have a look to see what one we're going to be putting in. So guys, let's have a little bit more of a close-up of the actual terrarium. Like I say, so it's got the front opening with the catch. So it's got air vents going all the way along the front, and obviously the ventilation on the top of the enclosure. Like I say, these just literally just pop out and you can open and close it as you so wish to. The general build of it seems pretty good, and the one advantage these have over the Exo Terras is the gaps along the edges are a lot smaller. And what I'll do is I'll put a comparison towards the end of the video how close they are together compared to two Exo Terras, and we can measure the actual gap between them. They are stackable as well, which is another good thing. They come in all different sizes. This is the smallest one they do. They do like a one that's probably about that much wider, so I can't remember the exact size of it. So what size are these? These are 30, 30, 20, so it might be a 40, 40, 30 maybe, something like that. And then they obviously do larger boreals, and then they do the massive great big ones like the Exo Terras do as well, for more reptiles rather than the tarantulas that I keep. Yeah, so that it's a massive range of sizes, and the prices are competitive against the Exo Terras as well. So yeah, so let's have a look at the spider that we're going to be putting in. So this is the diamantinensis in here, just in the bottom there. So the enclosure is okay for it, but these rubs they've got, they're not properly clear, see-through, and these are prolific webbers, just like the green bottle blue Comparative pubescens. And so I wanted to give it a little bit more of a nicer enclosure, something to show off its webbing. And the idea that I've got for this one, as you'll see in this video, is actually pretty impressive. So yeah, so let's get on with it. Okay guys, so we're ready to fill the enclosure up now. So what I've actually got is I've got this nice kind of ornament here. It's got a couple of entrances, one at the front, one at the rear, and inside it's got a lot of hiding places for it. So I wanted to keep this as like a main central piece for it, and hopefully what it will do as well is it will actually web this up and make it a proper like web castle. So that's the idea of it. Whether it'll come off or not is another question. Now it fits just about right in there. it doesn't need too much substrate. These aren't a burrowing species. They will generally hide under rocks and bits like that. So this is why I thought this piece was kind of ideal for this species. Yeah, so let's get some substrate mixed up for it. I've got a mix of cocoa fibre and a little bit of desert sand as well, just to give it that little bit of more of a lighter texture, lighter colour to the substrate. And where they actually originate from, it's more sort of like arid kind of terrain. So that's the idea behind the substrate mix that I'm going to use for this one. So guys, you know, this is probably going to be maybe enough, maybe a little bit more I need. Let's have a look. So, like I say, they don't really burrow that much, so you don't need to have massive amounts of substrate in for these guys. Let them do their thing with their webbing. So the colour is probably about right. I need probably a little bit more cocoa fibre. Another scoop. And a bit more sand. This is just normal desert sand that I got for reptiles. Perfectly safe for tarantulas. So yeah, that should be enough substrate for this guy. Obviously make sure the air holes aren't blocked at the front. So let's move this over a bit and just drop this in. I'll go back a little bit more now actually. The idea is to put it further back, so if it does kind of web down, it doesn't web onto the door, so you're not disturbing it every time you open the door. I think that is going to be perfect. So hopefully in a few weeks time I can give you a bit of an update and show you exactly what it's done. And yeah, it should look pretty cool. So let's actually try and get the guy in there. Okay guys, so we're ready to try and get this guy in. Right, so these guys are actually really fast and they do like to bolt, so you have got to be very careful with them. But this enclosure fits in quite well, so what we'll do is we shall put it up on its side, give it a little, oh okay, it's turned round and it's made a little threat posture at us. So might be a bit hungry actually, either that or a bit defensive, one or the other. So these guys don't have urticating hairs like a lot of New Worlds, so it might have a bit more of a what's the word, low tolerance to biting, although they're not renowned for it. The webbing is really thick, and if I can, once I get it out, you'll be able to see what I mean about it looking, resembling a green bottle blue. Come on. Okay, so it's buried itself. The webbing is so thick, it's incredible. There it is. So it's now hiding in the corner. Right, might give us a better chance to get it out now. No, it's not in all its webbing. Okay, so come on, little dude. There you go. Wow. Let's see if we can get a close up. Okay guys, so this is the Exo Terras. Now, as you can see, there's a lot more, quite a bit of gap here. You know, I can get my finger through the gap, so we're going to actually measure the gap to see what it is. So it is 17 millimeters between the two, and that is then butted up right next to each other from the bottoms. As you can see, these bottoms, they curve out quite a lot. So now let's compare that to the Gigan Terra enclosure. So this is the Gigan Terra, and as you can see, I can't get my finger through, so it obviously is a lot smaller, but how smaller is it? It looks like it's 8 millimeters. So that's less than half the distance between the two enclosures compared to the Exo Terras. So yeah, so you know, does it make much of a difference? Probably not. But in terms of maybe trying to get them into a specific cabinet or something like that, then that could be all the difference. So yeah, so there we go. It's not, you know, like I say, in terms of build quality, there's no real difference. I do like the lock-in on the Exo Terra, but then again, you know, this clip lock here can be a bit fiddly. Once I get the hang of it, I'll probably be able to open it easier. Obviously that one's empty, so there's no weight to it. But when there's, you know, when there's substrate and bits and pieces in there, it'll probably be, you know, it probably won't slide around, and it won't be on a glass enclosure as well, so the feet have a bit more grip. But yeah, so in regards to that, let's see how well they stack. So this is how they stack, guys. Very secure. They don't slide about too much. I think that's less than what the Exo Terras do when they're stacked on top of each other. There's a gap between, so you get good airflow from the enclosure below. Yeah, so they look pretty secure when they're stacked up, and obviously you can stack as many as you like up, really, I suppose. It's not going to make any difference. But yeah, so that is the Gigan Terra enclosures. Do I recommend them? Yeah, so far so good. So I almost forgot this one, but this is another advantage the Gigan Terra has over the Exo Terra. So with the Exo Terra, everybody knows that the hinge is set away from the edge, so you get this massive gap when you open the door, which obviously is a big risk for spiders escaping when you're doing, I don't know, maintenance, water fill, when you're filling your water dish, general spraying or something like that. You know, there's always that risk. You know, there's always that big gap here. That's because the hinges are set quite far away from the edge. Excuse the poop on the front of this one. Dirty, some Alpius. But on the Gigan Terra, you can see that the gap is minimal. You know, I can't get my finger through, so the hinge is a lot closer to the edge. So there is literally, when you open the door that wide, there's no chance of escape like there is on the Exo Terra. So yeah, so that's another little minor advantage for the Gigan Terra. So there we have it, guys. This is the diamantinensis Brazilian Dwarf Beauty and its new enclosure. Let's let it settle in, and I shall give you an update in a couple of weeks when it's hopefully done some nice webbing. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have one of these yourselves, or if you want to get one in the future. They're quite easily available in the hobby. A little bit on the pricier side than most dwarf species, but because of the beautiful colours, it's understandable. And yeah, so I'll see you next time.